Shadow of the Colossus is a new game that's just been released exclusively to PS4. It's actually a remake of a game that came out for the PS2 back in 2005. And instant disclaimer, I have never played this game on PS2, I've never played on PS3. This is the first time I've ever played Shadow of the Colossus. I was very interested in playing this game because lots of people consider it to be one of the best games ever made. And after playing the game, I'm going to be in the minority on this one, I know, but I thought the game was good. I thought it was a pretty good game, but I just can't bring myself to love it, unfortunately. Starting off with the positives, first up, the graphics are absolutely incredible for this game. I have seen PS2 gameplay for the original Shadow of the Colossus, and the graphical upgrade is just astounding. It's good that they actually fully remastered this game, instead of just bringing the PS2 version to the PS4 like I did with GTA San Andreas and GTA Vice City. The scenery in this game as well is extremely stunning. Like, you're going through these big canyons, and they're just so big and so diverse and dense, and it just shows all the detail that they put into this world. And the cinematics for this game are absolutely off the charts, like the scenery I've just mentioned when you're riding around on your horse and you're just seeing all the landscapes, but also in the cutscenes as well. It just feels like a fantasy cinematic experience, like a Lord of the Rings film or something. Let's talk about the colossi, because these are the things you have to fight in this game. There are 16 of them, and yeah, they are something to behold. When you first meet a colossi, you're looking up at it and you're just like, yeah, they're pretty damn intimidating, and the scale of them is just so awesome. And I don't mean that in the sense that, oh, it was awesome. I mean, it was just really awe-inspiring just how large these things were and how small you were compared to them and how well realised they were in the game. And when you're fighting these colossi, it's some pretty epic stuff. I would liken the fight scenes in this game to the action in Uncharted, where it's the type of stuff that in other games it would be a cutscene, but this game keeps you in the driver's seat and you're just playing through all this epic action, and it's just really exciting sometimes. I love how the colossi and the boss fights in this game are kind of like puzzles where you have to figure out how to take this thing down. And you really have to think about the colossi, you have to find its weak spots, you have to use your surroundings to take advantage of the weak spots. It makes it one of the best puzzle games that I've ever played. And when you kill a colossi, you're just like, yeah, it's so satisfying. When you finally kill it, it goes in slow mo and it just slowly tumbles down to the ground, and that epic heroic music starts playing. You just feel like such a badass when you take those things down. But now we have to flip it over and talk about the negatives, because there were some parts of this game that kind of frustrated me. I know some people are going to consider this to be a nitpick, and I can see why you would think that, but it happened a couple times to where it really frustrated me and I really wanted to talk about it. And it's that when you get knocked down by a colossi, sometimes the guy just lays on the floor for about 5 seconds, and I'm just like, okay, get up. Hello, get up. And as soon as you get back up, the colossi knocks you straight back down. This was really, really irritating in like the 11th colossi fight, something like that, and the 14th one, where they're those ones on all fours that are just charging at you at full speed. They would knock you down, you would stay let down for about 5 seconds, and you'd get straight back up, and it'd knock you straight back down, and it's just a continuous cycle, and it really irritated me. It didn't happen to me that many times, but when it did, it was a big frustration. But if you want to talk about frustration when it comes to this game, let's talk about the travelling. Every time you need to go fight a colossi, you have to travel to it on your horse. So you start out in your main place, you hold up your sword, it's like a magic sword, and it points you in the direction of the colossi. So you then have to mount your horse and then ride in that direction and find the colossi, but there's no route. It doesn't tell you exactly where the colossi is, so you just have to guess where it is. And quite a few times I was trying to find the colossi and I legitimately got lost, because I went one way and that was going a completely different direction, or it was a dead end. I have to go all the way back and go a different way. That wasn't the right way, so I had to come all the way back and go a different way. I just really wish the game just told us where the colossi was and let us put some kind of marker on it, so then we had like a route to follow. It would have just made life a lot easier. It was moments like that that made this game kind of a grind at times rather than enjoyable. Going back to the colossi and the boss fights, I wish there was more variety in how you actually killed the colossi itself, because if every single colossi, what you have to do is find its weak spots and get to those weak spots and stab the living hell out of it until its life bar goes down and it dies. And yes, some colossi do have more than one weak spot. Some have one, some have two, some have three, some have potentially four. And there are some puzzle elements to some of the colossi, like they might be wearing armor or something, so you have to figure out how to get the armor off the colossi. But in terms of actually killing the colossi itself, it's the exact same for every single one of them, and I would have liked to have seen a few more clever puzzle solutions to how to actually take these things down. Not a big gripe, just something I would have liked to have seen. And lastly, I didn't really feel any emotion or any investment into any character or story in this game. The game starts out and the protagonist takes the dead girl girl to the altar. He obviously wants the girl to be brought back to life by the gods, but he has to go and kill the colossi. But that first cutscene is the first real establishment of any kind of story or character, but you don't really learn anything about these characters. And after that cutscene, literally you just go from boss fight to boss fight to boss fight to boss fight through all 16 colossi, and it just doesn't really feel like there's any story bridging them together. It baffles me as well because I've seen some people say that this game's really emotional, and I'm just like, I didn't really feel any emotion in this game whatsoever, at least any investing kind of emotion to the characters. However, narrative and characters are a second priority in a video game for me. The first priority is the game enjoyable to play? And for the most part, Shadow of the Colossus is enjoyable to play, so the narrative and characters thing is not like a huge problem, but it's still something worth addressing and something I would have liked to have had that made me invest in and care about what was going on in the game. I feel like I've been really negative in this video, but I just want to clarify, Shadow of the Colossus I think was a pretty good game. It was a solid fantasy game. Amazing graphics, stunning scenery and cinematics. The music is also really good. Really great epic music to go along with the boss fights. The boss fights themselves were really fun. The colossi were really well realised. But the frustrating travel, the kind of rinse and repeat formula of the boss fights in the game, and the lack of compelling characters or stories to get invested in brought the game down a couple of pegs for me, and it just prevents me from fully loving the game like pretty much everybody else. I've yet to see a review or a reaction for this game that isn't highly positive, and I just feel like I'm going to be in the minority of people even though my review is mostly positive. It's a cool fantasy game with moments of tediousness. That's my one sentence summary of Shadow of the Colossus. Overall, I'm going to give Shadow of the Colossus a 3.5 out of 5. So Shadow of the Colossus, have you played it? What did you think about it? And did you play it on PS2 originally? And how do the two versions compare to each other? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below, and if you want to see more of my stuff, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.